Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is a live stream that I decided to do just a couple of moments ago when some news came out. There's some news that has just come out that I wanted to share with you guys, and I am honestly excited about it. Because it is something that I've been talking about kind of sort of for a little while. And so it's nice to see it actually come to fruition. And so I see some comic book swoldiers flowing into the room here. So we will say some quick hellos and then we will get into the news. And then if we got some time, we'll chat about some other stuff. So a couple of people here in the room, Mighty Comics and Collectibles. How you doing, brother? Nick. How you doing, Nick? It is good to see you, my friend. No Good Comics is in the house. Super honorable nephew. How you doing? Anna Chronic Comics. Joe, it's good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the live stream. Matt, how you doing? Great piece of artwork, Matthew, sir, that you have put together for another member of the comic book community. Somebody sent it over to me, and it is definitely a dope piece. So well done, sir. Ariel's in the house. How you doing, brother? Cameron is here, backseat driver. How you doing? It's good to see you, my friend. Long time no talk to. It's been like all of like 5 minutes, I think. So a lot of people flowing in here. Master Blaster, Comic Books NYC. Jason, how you doing? Nick is in the house. Alec is here. I heard somebody just dropped another deposit on you, my friend. So congrats on that. Harvey Abel's in the house. How you doing, brother? James Comics, how you doing? All right, so let's go ahead and rip into this thing. And making some adjustments here to my audio. It is a little different for me. I just changed out some stuff here. And the sound is rendering just a little bit differently in my ears. So I don't know if there's an issue or whether I just need to adjust to how I now hear myself. But I definitely want to thank you guys for jumping on real quick to be part of this quick impromptu live stream. And we have been spending a lot of time talking about off and on, right? Certain titles. And we've been talking off and on about all of the streaming services and how if something gets optioned, doesn't mean that it's actually going to result in something actually getting created, right? Optioned is just a step in a long process, right? But just 20 some odd minutes ago, some news actually broke. And there's a news platform that I actually prefer to use, and it's this one, Newsarama. They have just announced 20 some odd minutes ago that Philadelphia is a really fantastic comic that I've been talking to you guys about for months and months. I've really enjoyed it. It is actually in development right now for TV. And Philadelphia by Rodney Barnes and Jason Sean Alexander actually comes out from Image. This is a creator-owned property, and it is in development right now. It's really good. It's a really good series, to be honest with you. But I want to get down here to the meat of this thing. It says Rodney Barnes and Jason Sean Alexander's creator-owned Image Comics series, Philadelphia, Sins of the Father, is in development for television through Blinded by Light. And this was actually announced on Deadline, and we'll actually head over and maybe take a look at that real quick. Let me make this thing a little better full screen so you guys can actually see it. Philadelphia tells the story of a cop, this guy right here, who returns home to Philadelphia after his father's death, only to uncover a supernatural mystery in his hometown. What he realizes is that his dad isn't dead. His dad is actually a vampire, and there's a whole lot of vampire stuff that's actually going on. So it says Barnes, who is Rodney, the writer here, previous TV credits include being a screenwriter and producer for The Boondocks, Everybody Hates Chris, Marvel's Runaways, Wu-Tang, and American Saga, which was actually pretty good. And American Gods will produce the adaptation alongside. So I think this is definitely a really, really cool thing. I did not necessarily know that Philadelphia was going to become a TV show or whatever. I had no inkling of that. I just thought it was a really good story, and I'm not completely surprised. Let's put it that way. I'm not completely surprised that somebody that has a background in TV has written something that is now coming to TV, right? So we should not necessarily be surprised, but definitely is a really cool book. I want to say I own maybe 4 copies or something like that of issue number 1. And again, I picked them up because I felt like some stuff could happen, but I also just really enjoyed the story. So let me scroll down here and see what you guys are talking about. Who is that? Finally caught a live stream. Aqua, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Let me see. SCG show out of the UK. I recently did an interview with this guy. If you guys haven't listened to that interview, I definitely want to encourage you guys. Interview where I had an opportunity to sit down with SCG. So check that out. Breaking news. Yeah, we broke it. We broke it. Mark, I guess another person from the UK. That's one of the cool things about doing some of these live streams a little bit earlier in the day is that we actually give people from other countries an opportunity to join us. So we have Rye right over here down in Southern California, but then we have a couple of people from the UK as well. So Matt Shaw, it's good to see you, my friend. Scrolling down through the names here, Simon, how you doing, brother? Silver Age Surfer and I had a really good conversation the other day. How you doing, my friend? RA is in the house. I see you there. Scrolling down. Uh-oh, Super Honorable Nephew says, I have 5 copies of issue number 1. What is this? Author may, yeah. Author may have had a potential TV deal when he wrote the comic. That I would not be surprised by that, but I would like to think that what really helped it, right, is one, the dude had the forethought, right, to kind of put a deal in place. But I think he also, in my opinion, wrote an interesting comic, right? It was a comic that I actually enjoyed reading and could easily see becoming a movie, kind of sort of like, what is it? 30 days, 30 nights. That comic is incredible. And then I watched the movie and I enjoyed the movie too. So that's the feeling that I get from this, right? But you know me, if it has vampires in it, like Vampire State Building or Philadelphia or whatever, if it has vampires in it, I'm going to read it because I enjoy vampire stuff. So scrolling down through some of the comments here, Timothy says, been hearing good things about Philadelphia Comics may pick up at the next live auction from the LCS. There's a lot in that comment. There's a lot in that. He's hearing good things, which I think is fantastic. Philadelphia is indeed good, but then I also like the fact that the LCSs, at least in Timothy's area, are not taking this one on the chin. They are continuing to do what they can do to keep the lights on and pay for bills and all that kind of stuff. 4 copies for why? Let me get one. What was crazy is that when I actually picked up my copies, there were actually probably 10 or 12 copies still on the shelf of Philadelphia when I picked up a couple of copies of issue number 1 weeks after it had even come out, because I don't think that a lot of people were up on it. I think one of you guys probably told me about it. I went out, I read it, I enjoyed it. Then I was like, let me buy these because I enjoyed them. And when I saw so many on the shelf, I was like, I might as well take a couple more because you never know. You never know what could happen. So scrolling down, Sean, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Wolf is like, Philadelphia rocks. And again, I think it's really important to distinguish that just because something is optioned doesn't mean that it's actually ever going to see the light of day, right? Sometimes things are optioned for lots of different reasons, because maybe someone actually sees or has a vision for something that can be brought to life, and then later they realize that they can't happen. People option things and then management changes and it never comes to life. People will option things just to tie them up so that other people can't bring it to life. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why things get optioned. So when we hear that something has been optioned for a show, I don't know that we should get terribly excited about it, because in this day and age, everything gets optioned. The question becomes, does that thing actually get made? And so even the fact, honestly, that Philadelphia, even though they've announced that it's actually in development, that also doesn't mean that we'll necessarily see it, right? I mean, they are a step down the road, because if you're in development, that means that you are hiring actors and you're starting to look for sets and you're starting to do all the things that you need to do, right? The scripts, and you need to do all of that stuff to bring it to life. That means that they're making an investment. If they're making an investment, more than likely, they're going to want to see that investment paid off, right? So we are definitely a step down the road, but this is not like Philadelphia is going to be on TV next week. That is not what this is. But again, it is a really, I think, interesting comic to read that I've enjoyed. And so if you guys haven't read it, definitely want to encourage you guys to check it out because it's a pretty cool read. But for those that have joined a little bit late, because I know that a lot of people have flowed in here, we now are hearing that Philadelphia, Sins of a Father, done by Rodney Barnes and Jason Sean Alexander, is actually in development for a TV series. And so Rodney Barnes, who actually has a long history as a screenwriter and also producer, is going to be co-producing this TV adaptation. So it'll be really, really cool to see this come to life. As I click on the thing and make it blow up. That was great timing, right? But yeah, Philadelphia. So let's go over to Deadline and see what Deadline has to say. Sins of the Father turned into a TV series. This is actually a pretty cool cover. I actually have this cover. I think it's a really cool one. So let me see. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Acquired the small screen rights to Rodney Barnes' best-selling graphic novel. No, it's a comic book, best-selling comic book. Sins of a Father. Partner with him on the adaptation. Scrolling through. Image Comics series was first released in November of 2019, and the trade paperback is actually coming in June, potentially, right? Coming in June. Done in a crime horror noir style. The death of a revered detective, James. Let me see if there's anything in here. Baltimore cop, trip down machine. Not a whole lot in here. Let's see if there's some details here. Let me scroll through a little bit more background on Barnes. Scrolling through, yeah, not a whole lot of detail here as to where we might actually see this thing. I think a lot of more details will be revealed hopefully with time. But what we do know is that the writer has a history in TV with bringing things to TV, working on things that are in TV. And so we could see something happen later on down the line. So what is this? Lots of development news today. Variety reporting J.J. Abrams' Justice League Dark for HBO Max. That's what's up. I haven't seen that one. I have not seen that one. That's pretty cool. Let me see, scrolling down through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. I have not seen that. I tend to rely on Newsarama for whatever reason. Like I like Newsarama. I get alerts from them, and then I see the news, and then they also link to additional references so you can like verify some stuff. I dig them. There's a lot of things out there that put out news, but they don't necessarily give you all the context, and there's not a whole lot of links, and it's a lot of hearsay. So I try to depend upon Newsarama because I think they do really good news updates. So that's the one that I dig. So trying to scroll through. What else you guys are talking about? Scrolling through. Okay. Yeah, so for those that joined a little bit late, it appears that Philadelphia comic that we've been talking about here on the channel for a couple of months now is now in development. No details as to when it's going to be released, where it's going to be released. They said TV, which strikes me odd that it would say TV because you don't really see much in the way of TV releases these days. It's mostly like streaming services. So that struck me as odd. Maybe they're bringing it to actual network TV, which would be interesting if they decide to go that route. So I don't know. We will see. Scroll through this thing. I think you guys are having a little bit of a chat here. Let me see. I think you guys are talking amongst yourself there. Okay. Yeah. So if there's other things you guys want to chat about while I'm on here, definitely throw it up in all caps and we'll try to dig into it. But that was one of the big things that I wanted to see. Allison's like, shout out from Philadelphia area. Man, Philadelphia's. I've spent some time in Philly, and Philly is an interesting place. Even more so from the lens of Philadelphia with all the vampires and all of the founding fathers and the kind of stuff that happens in Philadelphia. But definitely an interesting place. Scrolling back through the comments here again, see if you guys are throwing up some stuff you guys want to chat about. We'll definitely dig into it. So Greek Freak, how you doing, brother? He says, I dig this series. I have like 4 number 1s and have all the singles, and I'm still planning on grabbing the trade paperback. Is it still coming out? I think I just reported that it's supposed to come out in June. So my concern with that is that I believe that Image has an exclusive deal with Diamond for distribution of their comics and graphic novels. So I'm not certain if they're actually going to be able to distribute that in June. If you believe the rumors that are out there about Diamond not standing up back until August. So, some of the other distributors out there and publishers actually have, deals in which they can distribute their graphic novels to bookstores and to essential stores like Walmarts and Targets and that kind of stuff. So I'm not quite sure whether we're actually going to see the trade paperback actually drop, but maybe we will. Maybe we will. So I noted that the president was actually doing an announcement when I walked in here about reopening the country and how there were potentially going to be these phases of reopening. So we could see some movement here in the next 15 days or so. So fingers crossed that, things start to actually open back up and maybe we get back to normal. So if it's TV, I can see a network like FX handling it. They did a good job with similar material. Oh, The Strain was dope. Bro, I enjoyed The Strain. That was such a good series. I mean, the acting wasn't always the best, right? Being completely honest, right? But it was a good series. The Nosferatu, it was about vampires. And it was just, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that one. That was one I really dug. So I definitely could see that. I think you're probably right that would be a good series for them to drop it on. That's a good one. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. With this break in distribution, I wonder if we will have a Game of Thrones situation where the show overtakes the series. Okay. I think what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about. I think you're basically asking if the TV show, when it airs, will actually be the driving force for the comic versus vice versa. I don't think we're going to see this TV series actually appear anytime in the near future, right? Because they're in development. That to me says early stages. So we could be another 6 months to a year, if not longer, before we actually see this. And I think right now we are on issue maybe 5 or something like that. So I don't even know how long the Philadelphia series will actually go. They may do it as like a mini series, 20 issues and be done. I honestly don't know. So time will tell. Philadelphia has been optioned from December as reported by Comics Heating Up. Is there updated news? There is updated news. It is actually moved into development. They have actually moved into development. And so again, this is something that we were talking about at the top, is that because something is optioned doesn't mean that it will ever make it to the screen. But the fact that it was optioned and is now in development is a step in the direction of it actually being, that it actually materializes somewhere. So I thought that was really cool news. Again, everything in this day and age seems to be getting optioned, but not everything moves towards actual development or results in something actually coming to the screen. So the fact that they are in development and actually putting some money behind it, I think is a good thing. And again, this was broken not that long ago. I think when I went live around 3 something, or no, a little bit after that. It was actually released around 250 Eastern time, I think. So not that long ago, All right. So let me scroll back down through some of the comments, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Silver, have I heard anything about the possible copyright issues with the use of the name Punchline? Just heard it from one person, so maybe not true. I have not heard that before. What was interesting is that I was reading something, and it may have actually been an older Batman series. It may have been like the White Knight. I may have been reading the White Knight, and what stuck with me, I think, from that series was they actually said something about Punchline in that series. And I wonder if that's where it actually came from, was that utterance of the word punchline in that series. I don't know what the origin of the name is, to be honest with you, but it's sometimes one of those things that people that are fans of, that they're going to be working on certain comics and certain characters, they are also fans of those series. And so they read those series over time. And some of that, my guess, either seeps into their minds or they purposefully leverage some of that old stuff and they bring it back. So I have not heard anything about any kind of copyright issues. So scrolling down through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Vampire State Building was pretty good, man. Vampire State Building was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. I mean, it was only a mini series, so that one's basically over. But Ablaze Studios, who actually put out a Vampire State Building, did a really, really good job with that. Right now, they have Kids, which I have not checked out. And then they also have Gung Ho, which is another series that I've definitely enjoyed reading. It's pretty cool series, very different, I think. Do I think No could be the Black Winter? No, I do not think that No could be the Black Winter. At least I don't think so, right? There is nothing there that leads me to believe that No is the Black Winter. I believe that the Black Winter is something else beyond that. Because of how it manifests itself, right? I think that the way that the Black Winter and the way the Null manifest themselves is not the same, right? There is a theory out there right now that the Black Winter could have been something that was actually seen in the 2013 or 2011 Thanos series, the one that was done by Jim Starlin that I just recently talked about in the video that I did on the Heralds. There is some rumor out there that the Black Winter is this character that made an appearance, and I want to say issue 4 of that series, called The Hunger. That's pure speculation. And in fact, when you look at them side by side, you can kind of see that there's a resemblance, but I don't know. It was kind of like, the late 2000s or the 2000s compared to now. There's a difference. So I don't know, but I do not think that it's No. I do not think that it's No. Scrolling down through what issue is Philadelphia up to now? I want to say maybe 5, maybe 5. It might be up to 5 right now. Scrolling down through the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Again, if it's in all caps, it definitely helps me to actually see it. So Batman White Knight is absolutely incredible. Just finished reading Curse of the White Knight. I struggle with White Knight. I struggle with it. I stopped reading it after issue number 3. I struggle with it a little bit. And then I want to say that I read maybe issue number 1 and maybe 2 of Curse, and that was a little bit better. But I struggle with White Knight. I was expecting to see more of Batman be front and center, more detective work, more of him. And what I got was a lot more of the Joker, which was fine, but I wanted to see more of Batman. So, but you can't like everything. Can't like everything. Let me scroll through. Yeah, so Greek Freak says, I thought Vampire State Building was good, but didn't continue reading it. I'm actually more into Gung Ho and will probably wait for the trade paperback. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Vampire State Building, I want to say was a limited series. I can't remember. Maybe they stopped at issue 4 or 5 or something like that. It was cool. It was different, right? It was different. And I want to kind of support some of these independent publishers that are out there with some of the things that they're trying to do. Gung Ho, Sexy Beast. I've been enjoying Gung Ho and some of the stuff that actually happens in there. So stay tuned. The origin of Punchline is supposed to be in the Joker 80th anniversary special. I'm interested in reading that. Yeah, interesting. Oh, is that? I think I know a little bit about that. What I'm referring to is that there was a bad joke, I want to say, by like Harley Quinn about something punchline, and that word stuck in my mind when I was reading it because of everything that was happening with Punchline and that character. So scrolling down through some of there we go, The Hunger. There we go. Yeah, that's who it is. So there is the speculation that The Hunger is actually the Black Winter. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not, right? Because the Hunger manifests as this entity that basically consumes, if memory serves, galaxies. And if you think about what happened with Galen, who is Galactus, that universe basically died off, right? It was basically consumed by the Black Winter. And so there are some that see the depiction of the hunger as this dark cloud, dark black cloud, which looks a little bit like, if you look at the end of, I think it was Thor 4, like a black cloud similar to the hunger that was introduced in Jim Starlin's Thanos run. So that, again, that's why people are believing that that's what it is. So I don't know whether they're going to be, right or wrong. I think only time will tell when we actually see the next Thor issue drop, whenever that happens to be. So we will see. What is this? Scrolling through, White Knight is definitely out of continuity and definitely not much Batman in it. Yeah, I mean, I read it because people were like really excited about it, but I was looking more for the greatest detective stuff. That's what I was really interested in seeing, because I dig Batman and I want to see that mind work. I saw glimpses of that because I had just finished reading Superman Unchained. And so that greatest detective stuff, that, anticipating what is about to happen long before it actually happens, I saw that in Superman Unchained. And so then I started reading The White Knight and I was like, man, I'm gonna see some cool Batman. And it just wasn't there, not to say that it was bad. It just wasn't there. And so, and it might've just been because of my frame of mind, Kari, who's Kari? Kari, your wife. So Kari, I'm going to need you to get on board. Matthew is a comic book soldier. He loves comics. He loves coming here, hanging out with me, hanging out with this group of fine 70 people that are assembled in this room right now. We need you to get on board. We need you to get on board with this comic thing. Just embrace it. Just let it wash over you. Timothy is asking a question. How do I think comic companies will handle titles once we're back open with comic shops? You think they'll drop all of the issues that should have? No, I don't, because I don't think that the issues were even printed. My general feeling is that a lot of the issues weren't even printed for them to be able to release them all at once. Nor would that be in the best interest of comic shops or Diamond, for that matter, or us as consumers, because you have to remember that comics, print production was probably also being shut down because of the state level enforcement on non-essential businesses, and print is a non-essential business, right? So my feeling is that there could be a backlog of some books that might have been on the printing press, but I believe that Diamond probably started to communicate and signal to publishers, at least they should, because they are partners, that they were not going to be able to take that inventory potentially long before it was actually announced, right? Because I have relationships with distributors, and that's essentially what Diamond is. Diamond is a distributor. Diamond is the customer of Marvel, DC, Image. We are not the customer. It is Diamond. And if the customer is not willing to accept inventory and not willing to pay, normally they're going to signal that in advance to the publisher to say, hey, if you send it, I might not be able to pay for it, or I need you to slow down, right? There's typically a dialogue that happens there at the trade level, if you will. So my feeling is that, production was probably shut down. So I don't think that there's going to be this bolus of books that are going to get released all at once. And again, nor do I think that that's advantageous for Diamond, because they probably cannot ramp up that quickly. I do not think it's going to be advantageous for comic shops because they won't be able to handle that. I think that the supply chain will potentially start back up slowly and then kind of hit a rhythm after maybe 2 months or so. That is my general feeling. So, and I know for a fact that there are some publishers out there that have titles that they have digital copies of them and they're ready to print them. They're ready to ship them, but you got to think, Marvel releases 100 titles a month. There's no way that they could drop 200 to 300 comics on a comic shop. No way. Plus DC, plus Image, plus Top Cow, plus IDW, plus no. That would be a mistake. Try Curse of the White Knight. It's better than, yeah. And the thing is, I think I started reading Curse of the White Knight. I want to say that I read issue 1 and maybe issue 2, because again, I heard that one was more focused on Batman. So I may get back to that at some point and check it out. So scrolling down through the comments here. I think there was a couple down here in caps so those jump out at me. I'm actually enjoying the time off from new comics. My only negative is some comic shops may close. I'm catching up on, yeah, man, there's a lot of reading that's going on in this house right now. I'll tell you that. I think I told you guys during one of the live streams that I was actually part of this 1,000 book challenge or something like that Crush Comics were doing. I think they actually exceeded 1,000 comics. I can't remember how much they went over, but even though new comics are not coming out, I think people are still catching up on the backlog of comics that they have in their collections. They're reading books digitally, right? So I think that, there's a couple of memes that go around that are like, if you haven't stepped up your hustle, started a new business, learned a new trade or something like that, then you're not using your time wisely, So I think as comic book collectors, many of us have probably shifted our attention to buying and or reading a lot of the old stuff because it's such a great use of time to just go back and just read a lot of that old stuff. That stuff where you're like, I should read this. I need to find the time to read that. I buy all these books every single month and I never read them all. You got the time to read it now, right? So that's like some of my bright side kind of thinking. What does it say? Alex says, Regie, drop 1G. I just want to say, even though I'm just getting back into my collection, your videos have had me down a rabbit hole since school is closed. P.S. I had no idea you had your pro card. Oh, yeah. Thank you, brother. I got the pro card, end of 2015, 2016, something like that. Yeah. Legit bodybuilder, even though I don't look it now, legit bodybuilder, still stood on the pro stage and all that good stuff several times. So, Reggie, do I think Diamond will remain the lone distributor? Do you think that will begin to change? I hope not. And we've actually discussed this in previous videos. If you like sales data, if you like comics coming out on a regular basis, if you like understanding the ratio variants that are being released and all that kind of stuff, if you like a stable comic book market, then you should be thankful for Diamond, right? Because if you remember back in the day, there were 12 plus distributors that were out there. 12 plus distributors that manage different comics from different and sometimes the same publisher. Multiple companies that local comic shops had to manage in terms of inventory with different requirements, different ship dates for comics. Try to get sales data from the period before Diamond was the industry leader, and it is tough. Diamond gets a lot of flack, but Diamond also helped to stabilize the comic book market. Diamond was put in its position by Marvel and DC because Marvel and DC recognized the importance of a streamlined distribution model. And up until this point, we had not had a streamlined distribution model. It was a mess and it was broken. It is now not perfect, but it is less broken than it was before. So I hope that Diamond continues in its position. To be honest with you, that is my thought. And that is, in my mind, not being anti-competitive. It is more being pro local comic shop and pro collector. That's where that comment actually comes from. So scrolling up through some of the comments, because I think someone dropped a super chat. Oh, my man, Closet Geek, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you, my friend. It is good to see you. I redid the Patreon list at the end of the videos, and I was in the process of alphabetizing it, and I got to your name. And I was like, well, I'm not going to put his name in there because he goes by Closet Geek, and no one will know who he is. So I put it in there as your screen name. And then it was all out of alphabetical order. And I was like, I'm not going back to fix it. And then a bunch of other people signed up for Patreon. And now it's now just a random list of names again. But at some point you guys will see videos that will come out that will be like nicely alphabetized. And then there'll be like another name added. Then the next video will be another name. But then after a while, it's just like, forget it. But shout out to you, Vika. I hope all is well down there with you and your family, bro. So scrolling down through some of the comments here, again, the ones in all caps definitely helped me to be able to see them. Tina, how you doing? I think you've been in here a while. I apologize for not acknowledging you sooner. Brian says, hi, Reggie, drop 1G. From London, what have I missed? What show is in development? Oh, yeah, I'll jump back up to it. Give me one sec. I'll jump back up to it to recap for people that have come in just a little bit. Joe, thank you for hanging out, brother. I definitely appreciate you. Talk soon, my friend. All right. So for those that have come into the chat a little bit late here, Images Philadelphia is now in development for TV. This was actually a comic that was optioned a while ago, optioned last year. And just because something is optioned does not mean that it will ever come to TV. There's lots of reasons why things get optioned, but it appears that Philadelphia is now moving into development. And so the guys, Rodney Barnes and Jason, are moving forward with this thing. They've signed a deal and they are in development right now. The cool thing is that Rodney Barnes actually has a pretty healthy track record of writing for and producing different TV shows. The Boondocks, Everybody Hates Chris, Marvel's The Runaways, Wu-Tang Clan, and American Saga, which I thought was really good, American Gods, so on and so forth. He is not just the writer for the book, but he's also going to be the producer or one of the co-producers on this adaptation. So Philadelphia is the story of some vampires, man. It's a father and son and some vampires set in Philadelphia. It's a pretty good read. I think they're up to issue number 4 right now. So if you haven't yet checked this one out, I definitely encourage you guys to check it out because I think it's an entertaining read. I think people also really like the artwork. Artwork's okay for me, but I enjoyed the comic. So let me see what else you guys are talking about. Yeah, the hardcover or the graphic novel, the trade paperback, sorry, will not actually be out, I don't think, until June. And I think that may be up in the air. And I say that because Image has an exclusive deal with Diamond where their floppies and graphic novels, trade paperbacks, all that stuff actually go through Diamond. They do not have the ability to distribute to bookstores like Marvel and DC and some of the other publishers that are out there. So not sure if you'll see the trade anytime soon. So we just jumped in a great news series. Yeah, man. Scrolling through the comments here. Man, Brian, The Lost Boys. Whoo, that was a fantastic movie back in the day. I can't tell you how many times I watched that one. That one was incredible. That scene where he woke up the next night and was floating, that was real. That was real. I enjoyed that one. That was one of my favorite vampire movies out there. And I watch a lot of vampire stuff. It doesn't matter whether it's B or C, in terms of like quality, I watch them all. Yeah. I think you're probably right. Yeah. He knew what he was doing. But again, I think that the cool thing is that, it wasn't, in my opinion, it was a good comic first and foremost, right? It was a good comic first and foremost. The same way that I read 30 Days, 30 Nights as a comic. I enjoyed it as a comic. It was also a really good movie. And so my hope is that not only is the comic going to continue to be good, but then the TV show itself will also be good. So, man, Morg, I think that's how you pronounce it. M-O-R-G, Morg. Man, he is a beast, bro. Because I'm actually doing the research now for the next Harold's video that I'll be releasing to you guys at some point in the future when I continue working on this thing. But Morg, woo, he is a beast. I had no clue until I started digging into the details on that one, just how powerful that dude was. So stay tuned, man. At some point, I'm actually going to drop this one. So drop that video so you guys can see it. Vika, thank you for hanging out, brother. I definitely appreciate you coming in. Definitely appreciate the super chat. All right. So I think I am going to the Frog Brothers. All right, I think I am going to wrap this one up. I wanted to jump on here, like I said, real quick and kind of share the news with you guys that I had just seen about Philadelphia being in development. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me just a little bit. I may be back on again at some point over the course of this week to do another live stream, but a lot of it is dependent upon the news and how I feel. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects, R-E-G-I-E. Regie Collects, or you can send me an email to Regie@regiecollects.com. Take care.